All right, this is the last day I'm going to be working on this truck. I've got somebody scheduled to come and pick it up tomorrow. So what I'm trying to do is just finish cutting out this wheel well here. I just wanted to see if I could. I'm not going to have time to get that one out of here. I've got to move this because my wife and we're doing a bunch of landscaping behind this thing. They need to move the truck in here, so I've got to pull this forward, or I got to get out of here, and then I got to pull the red truck forward. So I'm going to do that when they leave and get it ready to go. So this is the last of it. What I've done is pulled off the last crappy wheel that was over here. I'm going to let it go with two of my good wheels. I put the junky wheel on here because this doesn't turn. They're going to hopefully winch it up onto a tow behind or something and get it out of here. So that one's on there. I'll put a good wheel in the back. There's another good wheel on this side, although I think one of these drums is frozen, so we'll have to see what happens. Oh no, it's that front wheel is frozen. The rears actually moved. The fronts are frozen. That's right. So anyway, I'm just finishing to cut this out. The whole side of this whole side is ready to come out, but there's something up in this corner that I've got to cut out that I'm not quite sure what it is. Now that I've got the wheel off, I'm going to cut this part away and see what's underneath here, and then just basically, you know, cut this area, cut underneath here out to hopefully free up the wheel well, and the whole wheel well will come up. This whole section is basically free from the truck. I've cut around there, I've cut into this section here and a notch in there, and then all of the spot welds are out. So hopefully I can get this out in the next couple of minutes and then start buttoning this thing up, loading it full of metal trash to get out of here. This is the passenger side wheel well. It took me quite a bit of time to get it out. A lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't just a simple cut job. As it turns out, I cut off the bottom here thinking that that was not connected, but it actually is. It's all one piece. So, you know, it's usable for sure, and it's going to be good for taking measurements and stuff. And if I need it for something, that's great, but it's not a perfect piece by any means. Even so, I'm going to hang on to it because, hell, why not? I've already cut it out. Here's the truck as it stands to head to the scrapper tomorrow. I've loaded as much stuff as I can into it and sort of tied it down. Radiators there, the old bench seat, both tires, and a couple of pieces of junk and stuff. I've just put them up front here. Hopefully that's not going to go anywhere when it gets up on the flatbed. I've vacuumed it out, so there's not going to be a ton of stuff blowing out of here, hopefully. And it's supposed to rain tomorrow anyway, so I'm hoping that that will cut down on the amount of crap that's sort of flying out of this thing. There's all the heavy metal and stuff is in the wheel well here, so that's not going to go anywhere. We'll see what the guy says when he comes. He's supposed to put it up on a front tow behind, so that wheel is good. That's one of my old spares that I got from my friend Brian, and I put that wheel on just now. That front one is already flat. I pumped it up before, but it's got a slow leak, so I'll pump it up for the guy before he leaves tomorrow. And then the other front wheel Oh no, sorry. This is one of the originals. This is the one that actually holds air, and then I put this flat on here because this drum is actually frozen anyway, so there's no point in even, you know, pumping it up at this point. And then the engine. So yeah, it's going to be sad to see her go, but it'll be good to have the space back in the driveway. She gave her all, and I appreciate everything that she offered us. So fellow on the Binder Planet asked me about the seat bases, the square seat bases here. So I had a little bit of time this morning, ran out to Harbor Freight, got another set of welding cutters and just cut them out. This side was super easy because frankly there's not much left of the floor. That side was a little bit harder, but they came out. I'm gonna see if he wants them. My guess is that he'll probably turn this one down, but that one is, I think, salvageable. So hopefully he can use that to rebuild his truck. I'm gonna put all this stuff back in place, and in a couple of hours, this thing's gonna be out of the driveway. Call. Now that the green truck is out of the driveway, focusing back on the Scout and the red truck. First things I want to get to are taking the hardtop off of the Scout. That's long overdue. It's already middle of May and it's getting hot. Although it's been a weird spring so far, the weather's been kind of iffy, but if I get the top off of that, she'll be ready for the summer. I want to do a couple of small maintenance projects on it, work on the mirror, adjust the mirror, and then adjust the emergency brake, which has been very loose lately. And then on the red truck, the next project for that is going to be the wiring harness. I've got to pull the dash apart, take the old wiring harness out, and try to put the new one in. God help me. So I'm going to sidetrack our regularly scheduled truck videos to do a little bit of work on my fridge. This is a International Harvester fridge that I got from a friend of mine who got it from a friend of his. He had no place for it when he moved, so he gave it to me. This fridge, I would say it's probably more on permanent loan, and it's going to stay within our group of international guys if I ever have to get it out of here or if I can't keep it. It's a great fridge. It runs. It's been my beer fridge for, I think, 2 years now. And, you know, we keep other stuff in here. It works great. The freezer tends to sweat quite a bit. But what I'm noticing lately is that I'm getting a lot of mildew and stuff around the edge lip here, this old rubber. And I don't know how old this rubber is. It could be, you know, this thing's from 1952. It could be 70 years old. It could be 20 years old. I have no idea. Everything in this fridge works. It's in absolutely fantastic shape. I was extremely lucky to get it. and I want to take care of it. I'll show you right down here. That's the actual model, HA54, and it's dated to like 1951 or 1952. So what I did was went online and I found a place that sells replacement gasketry. This is the replacement gasketry. It's shaped like this. I could put the information for it in the notes of the video. But what I'm going to do right now is basically unscrew the lip. There's like a metal retainer clip that goes all the way down the perimeter of the door. I'm going to unscrew that, take this strip out, and replace it. I'm going to do the bottom, and I'm going to do this whole area here. And hopefully that will keep warm air out and the cold air in, which is really the goal here. So I will put the other camera on and start working on that. So here I used the screw gun to pull the gasket out of the perimeter of the door. It all came out really easily. There weren't any problems, and I was able to get the whole thing out in one piece, which was nice, because then I could see what I was actually working with. All right, so that stripping is off. There's a metal strip that goes around this whole thing. Basically, the one lip of this thing, this part here, this little part here goes underneath that lip all the way around. But you can see here, it's actually got a corner, and I don't have corners on mine. So what I'm gonna have to do is cut 45-degree angles here on mine and then cut a strip for the bottom. I started on the inside by the inside of the door and just sort of hung the gasket over the edge and then got it started in the channel and then pulled it down into place. That was key because just trying to do it by holding it up wasn't going to work. Once I got it in the channel, it actually went in pretty smoothly. So I started screwing it in on that side and worked my way up the door to the top section. I skipped a bunch of holes. I think I did every third or fourth one just to make sure that the gasket was aligned and looking properly, and then I went back in and filled the rest of them in. But here I just worked my way down to the bottom of the outside of the door, cut the gasket at a 45-degree angle, and made sure that went in cleanly, and got ready to do the bottom section. Then I closed the door and checked all the gaps to see how everything looked. Everything sealed really well, so I moved on to the bottom section. Here I got a 45-degree angle on both sides, test fit it, and then put it into place underneath. Once I got the bottom section into the channel, it went in really smoothly. Just screwed it in on the outside and then worked my way to the inside, and that was pretty simple. So here's the gasket as it's in. Again, I had to cut some 45-degree angles here to get the edges to work, but it seals up really well. The only place that it doesn't seal is on the corners here. It tends to bunch up because it's not formed for this particular fridge. It's just, you know, it is what it is. But when this does close, it does latch nice and tight, which is really good. It's a good solid seal all the way around. So what I'm going to do now is basically clean up all of this mildew, which is from the old seal, water getting out, and, you know, basically this thing sweating and then, you know, just sitting here. I want to clean this thing up, make sure it doesn't hurt the outside of this. So I'm just going to get some 409 and clean the whole outside of this off. I got to clean the behind the handle there and just take care of this thing. But I'm pretty happy with that. So I've cleaned up as much of this as I can. I got all the mildew off of the top and on the sides, which is really what I was hoping to do. So I'm feeling much better about that. And I don't feel any cold coming out of this thing at all, which is great. Looks like she's much happier now. So these sides are they're gonna sort of pinch in a little bit. I think we can live with that. So before I took the top off of the Scout, I wanted to clean it off. I don't usually take it out to get it washed, and it's been dirty for seasons, and so I just wanted to sort of clean it off. So I got the pressure washer out and got about, I would say, 3 years of dirt and yuck off of it. It gets dirty when it's hanging up in the garage, and again, because I don't wash it a whole lot,
it just collects dirt. So it was good to get it cleaned up before I took it off. So here's the method for getting the top off. Basically, starting with the fiberglass inserts, basically take all of those out. There's a bunch of screws on the inside, you just slide those out. They're pretty easy to get out. I've had to break mine on that right side to get it past the roll bar. I think a lot of people have to do that, but then there's, I think it's 5 bolts on either side of the travel top from the back to the front. I think I've got 4 that actually work on mine. And then there are 4 bolts under the windshield. They're Phillips head bolts. You just unscrew those. The other thing to do if you've got a working dome light is to pull the right rear brake light out and disconnect these 2 leads. They go up into the travel top from a hole in between the body and the travel top itself. So just make sure you get those. You can put the rear brake light back on. With the fridge repair out of the way, it was time to get the top off of the truck. One of the reasons I did that first was because when this top goes up into the ceiling, it can be hard to get into the fridge, and I wanted to make sure I had enough room. So I got that done. So what I do here is I've got a couple of 2x3s with eye bolts screwed into the ends. I get into the truck, lift up the top with my back after I've unscrewed all the bolts, holding it down, and slide the boards in between the truck and the top, and then attach ratchet straps to eye bolts in the ceiling and the boards that I put in under the truck, and then basically just ratchet the whole thing up. Just go around the truck, one at a time, do a little bit, make sure that it's all even, and get it up off the truck. It's super, super low tech, but it's worked for me for 15 seasons, and until I can get a better garage than the one I've got, or come into a whole lot of money to buy some sort of a boat lift, this is going to be what I do. So here what I'm doing is swapping out ratchet straps, because there's only so high you can go on a ratchet strap before you basically fill the spool and it won't go up any further. So what I do is I start out with one set, lift those up until it goes as high as it can go, and then swap to a new set. And that actually also, I can move it backwards. I've got 4 sets of eye bolts into the ceiling. And what I can do then is transfer to the rear eye bolts and move the top backwards as far as it'll go in the garage. Again, super low tech, but over 15 seasons, I figured out how to make it work pretty well. What I'll do is get it up as high as it'll go to the rafters. Basically, the roof rack is touching the rafters and secure it in place. And then I have a third 2x3. I'll throw that underneath and just use that as extra insurance to make sure that it doesn't slip off.
So this is what I do to get my truck top off. It's basically a bunch of ratchet straps, ratchet strap it up. I do 2 pieces of wood that they are screwed together so that they don't come forward or backward or slip off. This thing doesn't slip off. And then I'll put a third one underneath it just for safety's sake. Ratchet it all the way up to the top, and basically I have to park the truck in such a way that it'll clear this thing. This is actually a lot further forward than I usually have it. Usually it's back a little bit further, so I may have to move it back. We'll have to see how that goes when I get the soft top on, because if I pull the truck in with the soft top on, it's not going to clear this thing. So yeah, I've got to see what I can do there. For now, the hard top is off. I'm going to go find my soft top pieces and put that on and get this thing ready for the summer. This is an old Kayline top that I've got. This dates back to my first Scout that I bought 27 years ago, 1997. The top is still good. The top is actually, I sold my truck. I kept the top for whatever reason, and I still got it. These bows are from another Kayline top I've got. I've actually got 3 Kayline tops. I've got a tan top, I've got the black top that came with the purple truck, and I've got, it's called Nutmeg, and that came with my tan Scout. I'm gonna put the Nutmeg top on because it's in the best shape. I still have to find somebody who can re-sew the tan and the black tops. They need repairs. They might be beyond repair, I'm not sure yet, but Just going through all my bolts, making sure I've got everything I need. Next up, I've got to put this, which is the bar that goes across the windshield that captures the metal lip on the windshield. So I'll put this on, and then I can actually get the actual canvas on.
So once all those pieces are in place, I just get the soft top, lay it on top of everything. There's 5 snaps that snap onto the rear hoop. You get those onto the soft top itself, lay everything in place, and then just put everything up to make sure that it all fits correctly. There are 2 different types of soft tops. There's what they call a speed top and the snap top that Kayline used to make. I've got both. So the rails that go around the outside of the truck right now are snap top rails. The black top that I've got is a speed top, which is basically like a C-channel that it's like plastic that is sewed into the top that sort of tucks under another C on the side of the bed. Kind of hard to describe, but in practice, kind of works, kind of doesn't. I kind of like the snaps a bit better because you can repair those, and there's a little bit more give there. When I knew that it was all going up in place, I then put everything down, because what's the point of having a sunny day and a convertible with the top up? It's a pretty simple process to take it down. There are 2 frames that go around the driver's and the passenger's door that basically hold the front hoop up. You just have to take those out, unscrew them, and throw them in back. Not a big deal. And then what I like to do usually is bungee the rear canvas down so it doesn't flap around in the breeze. And once that was all done, I've got to take it out for a test drive. It's real nice to have the top off and have a sunny day. That's the whole reason I bought this truck.
Here's the issue. I have this mirror that's mounted to the windshield pillar, and if I need to open the door, I open the door and I whack into the mirror, and it's basically I'm always and forever having to basically fix it. So my first thought was, what if I move this thing up on the pillar? This is the highest I could get this thing up on the side of the truck, unless I put it way up at the very top there. And even here, it's basically right over the lip to the window, so I can't even put it here. I'd have to scooch it down a little bit and put 3 new holes in here. I was trying to see if I could just leapfrog it up and put 2 holes in there and just fill these in, but apparently I can't. And it doesn't even solve the big problem, which is getting this thing to open and avoid all the way. I mean, this is better than it is when it's down below, but it's still not the best. So now I remember why I did this in the first place. I think I'm just gonna have to live with where it is. So now I'm thinking, what if this swings out further and the mirror is out here more, but I basically bend this so I can see better. That way, when this thing opens, it's opening like that and I'm not hitting it. So I take this tab, bend it inwards so I can get a better angle on the mirror this way. Here's how the mirror ended up. Looks pretty good. I moved it back a bit, and like I said, I bent this mount to basically be able to move the mirror inward toward the truck more. So now when the butterfly window is open, it doesn't smash directly into the window, and I can open this thing up really wide. So if this works, I've not drilled any new holes into the window frame, and hopefully I don't mess up the mirror. So I'm hoping that will work. And I can actually see from the driver's seat. I can look and see what's behind me now, which is great. So long overdue. So I'm back on more mundane tasks today after having gotten the top off the truck and some other things. Back to the driver's fender, the original driver's fender from the red bus. I had been over this thing a couple of times. I've really been trying to clean this section up. I think I finally got it to the point where I like it. The curve looks pretty good. and I've really straightened a lot of things out. It's not perfect. There's actually a bunch of stuff that I should really address here and around the lip here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot this whole section with red and call it done and get it cleaned up. This actually needs to be addressed up here too, but this whole area can get shot. I think this can be done. This looks pretty good over here, so I'm going to shoot this with red. I'll probably clean that up. I'm just trying to get to the point where I can put it back in the truck for good. So I'm going to just hit it with 320 grit. I'll probably go up to like 600, and then I'll shoot it with some implement red out of a rattle can, and just get it so I can hang it back on the truck. Here's how the red fender turned out. It is not perfect. I'm not a body man, but that is a million times better than my first attempt at getting this thing to smooth out. This curve was a pain in the butt. I think I went back over it probably about 6 times. It's not exact, but I think, you know, from a long distance away, you really can't tell that that was completely bashed in at this point. So I'm gonna take that as a win. The bottom part also looks good. The patch that I put in is holding well. This is all just, again, rattle can implement red. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna clean this stuff up. I'm gonna sand this stuff down and clean it up. All of this stuff on the inside of here. And there's a little bit more to do here. I think this probably needs to go over one more time with just a good scuff. And I gotta clean these scratches up and everything. That's just from storage. There are a couple of dings here and there. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with those. But if I can get this side looking as good as that side, this thing will be ready. Now the next thing I've got to do with both this and the other one that's in the garage is I've got to figure out how I'm going to take this undercoating off and put new good undercoating on. I'm not sure if I want to actually take it off, or, you know, if it's been on there for 60 years, you know, it's done its job. I don't see why I should remove it again, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do here yet.
If you've made it this far in the video, you might be interested in some merch I've got for sale on threadless.com to keep this project going. I'll put a link down below in the description. Thanks for watching.